Recording in progress.
Oh, I think it's me. You guys can hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
Shani.
Okay, something is wrong at my end then. I'm going to log off and log in once again. Everybody's voice, even the recording voice was robotic for me. 1 second, let me double check my internet. It's correct. Let me quickly log off and log in once again. Apologies for this. Now it's better. All right. So what I wanted to cover today, it is called very popularly known as the LOD expressions or level of details. So just like, we have used a lot of functions in Tableau also, like we had in Power BI, and most of the functions that you have in Excel, you will see they are a part of Tableau as well as Power BI. Same things we saw over there. Now there is another, this is like a special kind of expressions that we have called level of details, and it comprises of three main expressions that we work with. Now, why would we need it? Typically what happens when I drop a measure or when I drop a dimension, it gets filtered, and the view that I'm looking at is dependent on the dimension and measures that you've dropped in your visualization. Correct? Yes or no? Yeah. For example, very simple example. If I have country and I have sale, so what will happen? First, country is plotted. Now, since the country is a part of the visualization, and when you drop sales, the overall sales get filtered based on the various countries. So this is typically what happens when you're dropping measures and dimensions. Now, it may be that we do not want the level of detail as per the view. We want a coarser level of detail, or we want a finer level of detail and do our calculations. So over here, when this kind of need is there, then we use a LOD expression. So there are typically three type of LOD expressions that we have. We use something called fixed, include, and exclude. LOD expressions is created through the calculated field, and this is a fixed way of writing it. So don't worry about the definitions. I'm going to share the PPT with you. But just to understand how it is written, the basic syntax is we write the keyword fixed, followed by the dimension, followed by the aggregated measure. In this example, let's say if I wanted to create a LOD function, or I wanted to create a calculated field where I want to say the sum of sales. Whenever this particular calculated field is dropped, it will talk about sales, but only with respect to region. Now, if any other field is there, it should not get affected by it. It should not get filtered by it at all. Right? So let's see the first example. I'd created this sheet ahead of time for you guys. So for example, over here, I have this fixed level of detail. So how did we create this fixed level of detail? Let's go through this. I went to calculated field. In calculated field, I wrote fixed country colon sum of sales, right? So when I'm writing this thing, what am I trying to do? I'm saying the sum of sales is fixed to the dimension of country. So whenever we drop this calculated field, the sales will always be the sales as per the country, and it will not get filtered based on what is there in your view over here. Make sense? Yes, no, or it's not clear?
Reiterate, please.
Okay.
Not clear.
Not clear. So I'm saying, okay. So remember what is happening. I'm removing this fixed level of detail for now. So this is country and this is sales. Okay. What is this number 21,000?
Sales.
Stays based on country.
Country. The entire Afghanistan.
Yes.
Correct. The plus sign helps me to expand the field. So if I click on it, now what am I looking at?
State-wise.
State-wise sales. So whatever was country-based sales that had further got filtered based on state. And if I click on state, what will happen? It gets further filtered based on the city. So what are these numbers that are showing up is depending on the view level that I have, the level that I have in my view. If I am on country level, then it's showing me country. If I have state, then I'm looking at the state level. If I have city, I'm looking at the city level. Correct?
Yes.
Now, we created a fixed LOD in which we said the sum of sales is only associated to the country. Meaning, if I have state or if I have city, it should not change. It should not get filtered based on that. Okay, and how did we do it? We write the keyword fixed, dimension is country, and the aggregation is sum of sales. Now it's clear what I've written?
Yes.
Now, to understand how it works, let's drop the fixed LOD. So I've got two columns, fixed LOD and sales. For each country, right now, are they exactly the same?
Yes.
Absolutely same, right? Now, if I expand it to state level, what happened in the normal sales table? It filtered based on state.
Yes.
But fixed LOD, did it filter itself based on what is the level of detail in your view? No. It is still associating with what? Associating with country. So if I see over here, Australia was 925,000. When I open this, it is still 925,000. And this is for all of it. These are repeating itself. Why it's repeating? Because this is still associated to the country. But over here in the view, we have expanded to the state level. And if I expand it to the city level, we'll see the same thing. In front of all city, I'm getting the same amount, which is for Australia. Got it?
Yes.
Yes, Ishani.
So first thing what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and understand what these level of details do, how are they working, and then we'll take some use cases that will help us to understand why we need to learn these things. Okay, so fixed LOD is clear to everyone, correct? Anyone, any questions around fixed LODs?
Why we create this field?
That's what I said. Use cases we'll discuss later. First line of thought is how they are operating. Once you understand how they're operating, then when I pose the use cases, then you will be able to understand, yes, I need it. Otherwise, it won't work. All right, Vivek.
Okay.
All right. Imran, any questions? Govind, Lalit, Vikar,
No
Pradeep?
questions.
No questions. All good? All right. Let's move on then. The second thing we want to work with is called include. Now, whether it's exclude or it's include or it's fixed, the way we write the syntax is absolutely the same. It says include the dimension, colon, sum of sales. But what it does is it includes a particular dimension in addition to whatever is there in the view. So if I say include this thing, so irrespective of what is in the view, it is still going to include the dimension that you have specified. What does it mean? Let's take another example. So over here, let's do this thing. Over here, what I have done is I have created a LOD of include LOD. And I had said that include the city and with the average sales, right? So anytime you're dropping this calculated field, it is always operating on which dimension? this calculates a calculated field, right? So it is operating on which dimension?
Sales.
Dimension.
City.
Dimension is always associated with city. And what is it doing city-wise?
Average
Taking
sales.
average sales.
Is finding the average sales. So in the back end, think about it. It has created kind of a table where it has the city names and then it has this average sales around it. Okay. Now let's remove this once and say that I've got the country level. And in front of the country, I've put the average sales. So how do you think the sales value has been calculated? How do you think Afghanistan has come out to be 394.1?
Based on country.
Based on country. So wherever there is Afghanistan, let's say there are 100 values. So we pick 100 values and we find the average on top of it. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now, if I expand it to the state level, the value has changed and individual states have its own value. How did we get 339?
Only for that particular state.
So depending on that state, so wherever Hirith was there, it did a sum and divided on top of it. Correct? And if I expand it to the city level, it will do the same thing. Depending on the city, it is changing it. Now, if I drop this include LOD, first of all, what you have to notice is it's doing double aggregation. How come it's doing double aggregation? One, by the virtue of its calculation. Over here itself, we do an aggregation of average. Right? We are saying what is it supposed to do? It's supposed to do average of sales. So there is an aggregation. On that, it is doing again an aggregation of a sum. Okay. So now what we're trying to compare, we are trying to compare the average. So I don't want sum of the city. I want average of the city. So if I click over here and just change it to average, now are these two numbers same?
No.
No. So what happened? Why do you think these numbers are different?
One doing based on country, second one considering the city as well.
See, when I opened it all towards to all the way to city level, now the
level.
values are same.
Same.
It's the same value.
Yes.
339, 413, right? And if I take it to country level,
So
now it is
country
changing.
average and sales month average. Oh, sorry, city average is different.
Yes. So see, think about it. Let's say, okay, let's open it to city level and then I can explain it too. So for example, let's take, for example, this one, Western Australia. Okay. In Western Australia, there are about 6 cities.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? So if I am in the country, how it is working, it is doing an average of cities. Like for example, one thing is when I go to Australia, the way the normal sales is working is it picks all the sales of Australia, sums it, divides it. Correct? And the way include is working is it's picking the average sales of each city.
Ishani, could you please repeat as your voice was not.
My voice is cutting.
Yes.
Okay, for all of you it's cutting. Then I'll check my internet also. Or is it fine?
It is fine.
It's fine, Ishani.
It's fine.
Fine and clear,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So what I was just saying was, I'm just trying to do the calculation also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 6. 428. Okay, on the state level, it should go to 1 second. Just want to make sure I can explain you the 428. Okay. So what we were saying is, if you look at the average sales, the way it typically works is based on the dimension in front of it. It picks those values, does a sum of it, and finds an average. Right? So when you're looking at a city level, it's exactly the same. The average of this and average of this. Why? Because in both the cases, the level of detail is the same. Over here also it's filtered to the city level. Over here also we said include the city when you're trying to get the average sales. This part is clear,
Yes.
right?
Yes, Shani.
Now when I shrink it down to a state level, now we will start seeing the difference. Why we are looking at the difference? How this is going to get calculated? All the sales related to Western Australia and then finding a average on it, right?
Yes.
Versus how we are getting 428 is if I do an average of all the cities of Western Australia, this is the average of per city and an average on top of it, then I'll get a 428. So that is why there's a difference coming.
Yeah, it's an average
Double
of,
aggregation is happening.
yeah, average of average.
Average of average is happening. But on the other level, it's not average of average. There's only one aggregation level happening. That is, it takes the data related to the level of detail and finds an average on top of it.
Yeah. When we expand till city, then the amount will be the same.
Absolutely, because then the level of detail is exactly the same.
Yes.
Okay, so over here, even though city is not a part of the view, we are still forcing our measure to be computed based on that dimension. So that is what include does. It includes a dimension which is not a part of your view. Make sense?
Yes.
Not part.
Hmm?
Which is not part.
Not part of the view. Like over here, city is not part of the view, right? But this level of detail, since it includes city, this calculation is still done based on city level.
Sunny, how is that 428 is coming?
That 428 is coming based on, so if you look at Western Australia, if you take an average of these averages, this is already an average sales, and if you take averages of these numbers, that is 428.
So in ideal mathematics also, we cannot take average of average. Hence number is not matching, I believe.
You can do an average on average, as in you're doing average of the city and then doing an average for the state on the numbers that you're getting of average.
But that depends on the numbers we are getting on that count. So if 523 comes out as an average, and again 187 is an average. So
all of them are average.
So
And
I
then I'm
cannot take
finding average of
all
this.
these average.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm taking average of all these averages.
So that number will be incorrect, right?
Why would it be incorrect? Why is it incorrect?
Because 523 is an average of certain number, certain sales which have happened on the count.
Okay.
And 187 is of course same way 523 has calculated. Then we are averaging out 523 and 187.
Yeah. So, but we are considering the city. That's why we are doing an average on average, right? We want the city to be an individual city and have its, how do I put it? How do I make you understand? For example, Western Australia. Hold on. Let me try to pull the data and then make you understand.
Okay.
Because if you don't take an average on average, then you're not doing city level. Then you're doing based on the state. City is not into consideration anymore. Do you understand? Okay,
let's see.
Okay, so for example, we were working on this country of Australia. Okay, let me pick only Australia first. So this is the data set that we have. Copy and let's say paste. Okay, now if I consider Australia in total and find an average, then what would that be? That would be equal to this average over here and average of this thing, correct? So it comes out to be 326. This is what? This is total of average of Australia sales. So we summed all the sales and we divided by the number.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is normally that's what we're doing. Now, if we say that, okay, I want to find out the country, within the country, the state, within the state, the city. And then I want to put my sales, right? So these are individual sales.
Yes.
So these are the individual sales I'm getting. These are also sum. Correct?
Yes.
Now, if I do a average on
Average
top of
of
it,
it.
now what are these? These are averages of individual cities.
Hmm.
If there were multiple things kept over here, these are the average of individual cities. That's what we're getting. Correct?
Yes.
Right?
523.
But now, if I remove the city from here and get the average, whose average would it be? It will be average of Western Australia.
Western Australia.
Overall. And what I'm saying is, let's say there are 7 cities in Western Australia. What is a typical average of the city? I'm getting 523, 186. Now, what is average of these things? That is not average of Western Australia. That is average of the city average. Probably, when we do one of the questions in the use case, then you will be able to correlate to what I'm trying to say, that sometimes we don't want to find it on the overall. We want to find based on a certain dimension, the calculation and the aggregation.
Okay, Shani, I understood.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So I hope that will clarify further.
Yes.
Okay. And then comes exclude. Like the name suggests, what will exclude do? It will omit it from the level of view. In the view, even though if the value is there, it will still not consider that. It will not filter based on that. So exclude omits a dimension, include includes a dimension, and fixed says, okay, with reference to this only, it will do all the calculations for us. So over here in exclude, what we have done is I'm saying that I want to exclude the city from sum of sales. So whenever a person is calculating the sum of sales, even though if you go to city level, city should not be considered. Understood? So typically what happens? Typically what is happening? That when I have this thing, if I expand to the city level, I'll get city-wise sales. It filters down to that level. But if I drop exclude into it, now what is happening? In exclude, you're getting 270 throughout. It's not changing, it's not getting filtered. Why? But because even if in the view that particular dimension is there, it is excluding it from the calculation. So if I make it state-wise, 270 was the total of South Wales. If I expand it, it still remains 270 throughout. It is excluding the effect of it. But if I move to country, yes.
Aren't we getting the same result in fixed one?
In
the fixed, the very first example, the fixed.
In the fixed one, yeah. Exclude is no. Exclude is not doing that. See, fixed is saying what? It is saying irrespective. Don't think about that repetition part. Repetition is going to happen in fixed also. But what are we saying over here? We said fix the calculation based on country. Now, whenever you are going in a finer level of detail, this is unaffected, right? And in exclude, we are saying even if it's in the view, don't take it into consideration. Exclude it. Right? So city I have put over here. So when I expand to country level, will this level of detail filter? Yes or no?
Yes.
Will it filter to state level? Yes, it will. Because exclude is not on state. If I had put on state, it would have come same for all, the same value for one country. And when I expanded to city level, since we've excluded city completely, that's why it's still showing me to the last level which is available, that is state in this case.
State. The same as a state.
It's same as a state. Okay. Let's do some use cases, then you will be able to understand. So just a very quick thing. Let's say this is our view. When you are doing include, right? Typically, when you're doing include something, then aggregations are happening on your measures. We saw that, right? Double aggregations are happening when you're using include. And when you are talking about exclude, repetition of the values will typically happen because you're excluding a particular field, and you will see that because you're excluding it and the level of detail might be having that value, values will keep on repeating. And fixed varies depending on what is our use case. It might be aggregating it, it might be repeating the values, so it may vary from more aggregated to the less aggregated section. Okay, include aggregations happening, exclude repeat value happens, fixed both the things can happen. Now let's take a use case. Oh, by the way, there's another LOD which we are also going to use, by the way, in our KPI calculations, similar to what we did in Power BI, called table scoped LOD. Now, what do you mean by table scoped LOD? If you go back and look at the typical syntax of LOD, it always includes a dimension into it, right? Dimension and aggregation. But in case of table scoped LOD, there is no dimension involved. So something like fixed min order date. Now, what is the role of it? Why do we use something like that? When we want to work and get an overall calculation on the column or the field. Typically, calculated fields are happening what? It is happening on a row level, right? Row context is there. Now, if I wanted to find what is the minimum order date from the entire order date column, then I'll use min over here and will not put any kind of dimension. Is it making sense? So things like if I want to find the minimum of the sales, maximum profit, minimum order date, then we'll use a table scoped LOD. And you may write fixed, you may not write fixed. It does the same thing. Curly brackets are important. And if you do an aggregation on top of a field, it generates one single value, and that's what it returns to us. Got it? Let's look at the use cases and then it will be more clear. I'm going to delete this. So I want this output. What is this output? This is customer order frequency, meaning let's say I have gone to a particular website and ordered from them 5 times. So the frequency is 5. Okay. So similarly, I want to find out how many customers have bought only 1 time, how many people have bought 2 times, how many people have bought 3 times, and so on and so forth, so that I get, okay, typically this is the number of times people usually return and buy. Number of purchases per customer. Okay, so 7. How many people have bought at least 7 times? 110. How many people have bought at least 5 times? 123, which is the highest number of customers. So how will we get our order frequency? Customer order frequency. Any thoughts? What all fields do you think we will require to create this calculation or this visualization?
Total order number.
Order number with respect to what?
Count.
Huh?
Count.
No. Okay. We will count the order number, but then what?
Customer ID.
Customer ID is important because if you think about it, what you're doing is you're kind of creating a table that says this person bought 5 times, this person bought 5 times, this person bought 5 times, and then finding, okay, how many people bought 5 times? Yes?
Yes.
So if I create something like this, for example, if I pick my customer ID, and then if I put the order ID, and order ID, I'll put count distinct.
Yes.
Distinct count, right? Distinct count.
Yes.
So what am I getting over here? I'm getting, what is this output I'm getting?
Total order per customer.
I'm getting total order per customer, right? So if I look over here, I am able to understand that only one person has ordered 18 times. And who is that? This is this person, DK13090. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people have ordered 14 times. And that's exactly what is reflecting here. 14 times. How many people have ordered? 5 people have ordered 14 times. Correct?
Yes.
So how do I convert this into that particular table?
Fixed.
Fixed with respect to what? Only Arshad is studying with me today.
With the order.
So what we want to do over here, in order to get this frequency, we will do a fixed. What do we want to fix? We want to fix with respect to customer ID, the count distinct of order numbers. That's what we were trying to do over here when I showed you, okay, how we are doing it. So what will this give me as an output? This will give me as an output as 1, 2, 3, 4. But because what we are doing based on the customer ID, we are saying how many times a person has bought. Correct?
Yes.
So output will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way till 18, because 18 is the maximum number of frequency that a person has ordered. So anywhere from 1 to 18, I'll get a value. Now, once I create this, this has created as a measure, but can I plot a measure on a axis? Can I plot a measure over here in the axis, or it always have to get aggregated? Can you use it as a header, or it will get aggregated? I can't use it as a header. So if I want to use it as a header, what do? I'll have to convert this into a dimension. Remember how bins happened? It was a measure. We converted into bins. Automatically, it became a dimension. When it became a dimension, we were able to use it as a header. So I'm going to convert this into a dimension. Now, once I've done, now when I drop it, it is coming 1 to 18. Now, what should I drop over here?
Order, total order.
Customer ID.
Customer ID.
Yes, yes, customer ID.
You will drop the distinct count of customer ID. And once you do that, then you will see, you will get exactly the same table that I had got over here. Clear? Make sense?
Yes.
So without level of detail, this was not possible. Okay. Can you all make this one? I'll undo my changes, put it on the slideshow. You can follow the steps from here, but try to create this visualization, customer order frequency.
Shani, I think
Sanjeet, your voice is echoing today.
because
Just mute one of the devices completely, like mic, speaker, everything off.
I had done that. Can you? I couldn't understand the frequency part.
What is frequency? Frequency is a number of time you are doing something.
So,
Okay. So in this case, we are trying to see how many times, like 20, if we are saying, okay, how many people are buying at least 2 times from my store. So 2 becomes the frequency. Then I'm seeing that how many people are there who order ID is at least 2 times the new order IDs are there.
Okay, now got it.
Okay.
Could you please show the calculated field of fixed?
And put everything in the PowerPoint presentation. The entire step, the calculated field, everything. can see 2 people done. Let me know if you guys are facing any issues.
Ishani done.
Done. So Deepika, Ankita, Shweta done. What others?
Done, Ishani.
Done, Ishan.
Done. Ashish,
I also done.
Arsha done. Sitaram done. Tarun, Suman, Shikhar, Tanu done. Neil, Dhirendra also done. Faisal done. Chitish done.
Ishani, in this specific case scenario, we have inserted two information. That
We
is
are?
two information. This number 5 and then 14. Right? The example that we have given. This
5 and 14. Yeah, correct. Okay. You're talking about this one, 5 and 14. Yes.
So can there be a case we can also add another dimension, another information, third information into it?
Why not? You have done views, right? In which you have put multiple measures or multiple dimensions.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes, we have done that.
Then?
No, by using this special function LOD.
The example, if you remember, the example that we were using also has multiple dimensions, right? It's just not country, the state and city, everything was there.
Okay.
So we can. Remember, whatever I've shown you, fixed, include, exclude, I have used multiple dimensions over here. State, country, city is not one dimension, it's multiple.
Okay, sure.
Okay, Fazil? Okay.
Ishan.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Sorry, I'm deleting all this. I want you to think a little bit and then I'll give it back to you. Now, next we want to understand is the buying. Who is buying or who is generating revenue in our business? Okay. There are 2 types of customers, new customers and old customers. And old customers are easier and much cheaper to retain than creating new customers. So let's say the business wants to understand that who is generating revenue, who is giving me the sales? Is it my old customers or is it my new customers? Okay. And they're 4 years, 11 to 14. So first of all, how would you know that which customer? Okay, first tell me, how would you define a person has become a customer of a business?
Order.
The first order, the first purchase that we do, correct?
Yes, order date.
Order date, right?
Right.
The first time when you go and buy something from a business, you have become their customer. So if I put the customer IDs and if I put the order dates, right? Let's say if I'm going to put the order dates and I'll put it on the day basis, something like this. This is going to give me what? This is telling me. So this is telling me for each customer, these are the dates on which a person has bought. Correct? Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
The dates on which the customer has bought from me. Now, if I talk about the first customer, AA10315, so he became our customer in which year?
2011.
2011.
2011, correct? And then he has continuously bought in 13 also, 14 also. So good customer, returning customer is there, buying frequency is more, right? So how do I associate my sales with this year of purchase?
Sorry, could you please repeat?
So how do I associate? So my question is, or my need is that I want a graph like this, which is telling me, if you look at this graph, the blue one is 2011, orange is 2012, red is 2013, and there's a slight greenish thing on the top, which is 2014. So over here, we can see it's entirely blue. Meaning what? That all the customers, obviously 2011 is the first year, so all the customer will be of 2011, so full blue. In 2012, we can see that 2011 people also bought, and those are the people who are giving majority sales, and then the 2012 new customers. So how do I get this thing?
Put sales.
Sales with respect to what?
Sum of sales.
With respect to what? Which dimension?
Sales with respect to order date.
Sales
Or-
with respect to order date. So, okay, let's see if I put sales. Where is my sales? Sales, and I've put order date. Okay, then let me create it into bar now. How will you do a color distinction of when a person
Customer ID on color.
customer ID on color? It will be crazy.
No.
Do you want me to go ahead or no?
No.
No, right? It will go crazy. A lot of customer IDs are there, right? So when you put anything in color, it
date. Yeah,
date
date.
of what?
I think
In colors.
have to
Order date in colors. Order date in colors. Okay, then all will have their own color. 4 items.
I
4
think
colors.
we have to identify the new customers. Then we need to put the in colors.
First of all, if you create a field in which we can identify which customer is of which year, like year wise customer connection, 2000, that this customer is 2011, this customer is 2012, then we will be able to work with it.
Yes.
So how do we make it happen? So we are again
need to create include
or fixed.
or
Okay,
fixed.
I'm going to make it first purchase, and this is going to be fixed. Fixed what? Customer ID should be fixed to the first order date. Now, what kind of aggregation I can do to get the first order date?
Minimum.
Very good. Minimum of order date. And when you do this, now what is associated with it? The year of the first order. And we click OK. Now, how many values will this field have? This calculated value, how many values will it have? 4 values only, right? A person will either be in 11 or 12 or 13 or 14.
Yes.
4 values. Means if I put it in colors, it will convert this entire visualize into 4 different colors.
Yes.
Yes.
Like this. Because this person exists in 2012 also, but it belongs to 2011, so it will retain the blue color. Right? So this is what we wanted. So what is the conclusion? Are we able to retain our old customers or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They are the major people who are contributing this to the sales. Interesting, right?
Yes.
Yes, Ishani.
So these kind of things without LODs are not possible. Okay. So can I take another 5-10 minutes or no? Not possible today.
Can finish
Yes.
this.
Yes.
I'll finish this, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I was also thinking just one last use case and then we'll finish it off. This was customer retention.
Can we also do this? We haven't done.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Sorry. I'll bring back the data first. Control Z. Now to customer. Here you go.
Why is the color is coming upside down in the Tableau? The yellow.
It's just the legends are there. That's it. Not a problem. 2011 is just the placement of the legends. I don't think so it's a big issue. I don't know. Edit format legends.
Orange is coming at the bottom and blue is
Yeah,
coming.
you can move it around if you want.
Okay.
See, no issue. If you want that way, take it. Okay.
Shani, could you please show the chart on Tableau in Tableau?
The new calculated field that you will create using this fix function, drop it in the colors.
I mean, how you fix that? Like earlier, the orange part was coming below, how you go at the bottom. How you fix
I just went over here in the legends and I clicked on format legends. That helps, and you
Yeah,
can
got
just
Oh, okay.
move it up and down.
Shani done.
Done.
Shani.
I think with even without the format legends, you can move them around.
Done, Shani.
Done.
Shani, how you have done means how you have changed this
Order.
2040 right order?
I just moved this in the legend. I just picked it up and dragged it down.
Just come on. Okay.
Done, Ishani.
Ishani,
Right.
which chart is you? Actually, I am showing the line chart.
Not a line chart. Because in line chart, how will you show that distinction?
So stack column chart. So by default, is showing the line chart, so I have to select this stack column.
Yeah. Which chart is just a which chart is it? It is a normal, yeah, stacked column chart, correct. Okay. One more. Remember, someone was stuck on that average thing. I don't remember who was. So here you go for the next one. Now I want to find out this time what is the average sales of customer in each segment? Average sales of customer in each segment. Okay. So what all do I need? Average sale of a customer in each segment.
Sale, we need sale.
We need sales and
Segment.
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 Right.
Okay. So if I put the segment and if I put the sales, right? And I made this as average. Now, what is this average?
Total sales.
Average on segment level.
This is average of segment. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for customers average in each segment. Meaning, if I have sales and if I find the customer, if I know the number of customers, right? If I do a distinct count on it and I have the number of customers and if I have the the sales, and if I divide, can you guys see the calculator on my screen right now?
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
So if I do 1816,438 divided by 409, 4,441 is what I'm looking for. What is that? That means the total sales is as much and number of customers who are there is 409. So average customer sales is the total minus the count of the customer.
Yes.
But right now, what it is going to give me based on this view, it will find wherever is consumer and it will do an average on top of it.
Yes.
Right? So these two are different. So what do I do?
Calculated field.
And what?
Include.
Include who?
The customer.
ID.
The customer. Right? So let's say customer average, include, colon, average of sales, right? And once this is done, then I'm going to drop this. And again, this is showing me sum, but it's not a sum, it's an average I want to apply. So average of it, what did I do? Customer average, that was correct. And then again, we want to run average on top of it, but it is 325. No, that is not correct. No. This I found is customers average. I don't want to do customers average. I want to do average, overall average of customers, right? Not customer based average. This is giving me customer based average. So I have to edit this. Over here, it won't be average in this case. It would be a sum that I get. Once I get the sum based on customer level, then I want to do an average on top of it. Makes sense, right? This is sum, not an average. And then divided by the distinct count. Then I want this 441 to be there. If I do average and average, then the average I'm getting is, if there are 409 customers, the average spend by each customer is 326. Correct?
And now you will
Ishani, I'm not getting that.
What I had done initially when I was finding the average of a customer, I had put an average over here. Okay, so what it would do? What will it associate? For each customer ID, it will find an average of it. Right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And if I have 409 customers, then 409 averages, and on that top of that, I'm doing another average. So that's not what I wanted.
That's not
What I
correct.
wanted was whatever is the total sales of consumer and how many customers are there. So based on this, what is the average sales of a customer in average customer sales in the segment? I would want to find out total sales and the total count and divide it. So it cannot be average over here. It had to be a sum over here.
And in order to find that average, we will change the field from sum to average.
Yes. And in order to find that average, I just converted that sum to an average.
So Shani, what does this average sales earlier one is doing?
This 441,
No.
319.
Yeah.
This one?
Yes.
This one is, it will pick the entire segment of consumer. Let's say there are 200 records for consumer. So this value divided by how many times consumer segment was mentioned. Let's say it was mentioned 200 times. So this value divided by 200. So it has nothing to do with how many customers were there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. That's it. Questions? What I'm going to do, obviously, I'm going to upload this workbook over here with the explanation. This PPT I'll be uploading. It has all the explanation, and look at this resource. It's got about 15 LOD expressions, different use cases of the LOD expressions that are there. Try to go through it. It will give you a more interesting ideas of what can be done. So it's a nice blog by Tableau itself, and I've picked these examples also from there. And what it does is it gives you step by step how things have happened. Okay, for example, the top 15 LOD expressions, but take into consideration not all the time. It may be very good analysis that you will get. For example, there is 1% of total. In this case, they have given an LOD expression, but trust me, I don't need an LOD expression for this. So I don't know why it was given. So, different work is given. Try to go through it, see how the LODs are coming into picture. Got it? And it has got this story points. So in story point, they give you steps. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. So they are giving you proper steps how you're going to achieve it. So I'll upload the Tableau workbook, the public Tableau workbook. I'll upload the notes that in the PDF format, and what else is required. That's it.
Yep.
All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And the agenda for tomorrow is, this is done. This is done. We will do dashboard designing. So you can relax a little bit. No technical work tomorrow.
And can I see last part, last thing we have done once again?
Last thing we have done, sure. You want to see the PPT?
So this measure value, you have put measure value.
Measure value, basically, when you're putting multiple measures in your view, it categorizes it as a measure value.
Okay.
Just like how in pivots, you remember summation sign used to come up, similar to that.
Okay. Customer.
Shani seems.
What happens, Sanjeev?
I think I have to leave for another work. So thank you.
Yeah, we're done. We're done for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll become artists and not technical people. We'll design. Sure, Tanu. Everyone, please log off. We're done. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Shani.
Bye-bye. Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Thank you, Shani.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Shani, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.